Hello everyone, I'm Grandmaster Priyadharshan Kannappan and welcome to Gyaan series of checkmates in chess. And today's episode we're going to be talking about checkmates that happen on the B2 square. So the episode is titled Benign B2 square. So before we go into checkmates that happen on B2 square, if you would been following our videos, you would know that we give a puzzle or a homework in the previous episode and we share the solution in the next episode. So let's first look at the puzzle that we have on the board. This was the puzzle that was shared on the C2 square episode, and black has to deliver a checkmate on the C2 square basically. That's kind of the question or the idea that black is playing for in this position. So this is a very tricky position, as I had said in the previous video. If you haven't yet watched it, I would highly suggest you to go check it out. And let's now look at the solution or how the game played out. So black started with knight d3. I think this is a very important move because by going knight d3, this knight controls the square, b2 square. Before playing knight d3, if you look at it, white's king has access to b2, a1, a2, these three squares from its current position. So by going knight d3, we have limited the access only to a1 and a2. And one very important point of if you are trying to checkmate the opponent's king is to restrict the opponent's king's activity or exit squares as much as possible. So knight d3 does exactly that. And here white played king a2. In case if white had gone king a1, the game could have continued with king c3, the king coming closer, the black king closer to the white king, and if king b1 going king b3. So now there's only one escape square or kind of the move that white can play, which is king a1. And now the black knight on a6 joins the checkmate hunt. So we go knight a b4 and white desperately just tries to push his pawn forward with a6, but then there's a very nice checkmate idea that starts with king c2. So now looks like the king is stalemated, but there is still as this a6 pawn there, the game continues. So that's why it's very important when you play a two-knight endgame, you leave one opponent pawn without capturing it so that, in a situation like this, it doesn't end in a stalemate. So white goes a7 and black goes knight c1, and whatever a8 gets promoted to, here in this case queen, it ends up as a checkmate with knight b3. So let's get back to the game. So after knight d3 in the game, white played king a2, and now if you look at the escape squares for this king, it's b3, a3, a1, b1. So these four are the escape squares. So by going king c2, we have taken control of these two escape squares, leaving the white king only able to go to a3 or a1. I think that's a very important point to note. So white goes king a3. So white's now trying to say, okay, I want to go king a4 and maybe escape this way, this to escape to the other side of the board. So, and also there's always this king a2 kind of dropping back escape square. So for this, black plays this knight b2. So black is like, no, you can't access the square because my knight is controlling a4. So that's a very important move in my opinion. And the king cannot come b4 because there's the knight here controlling b4. So white goes king a2. And now what are the escape squares for the white king in the next move? Which it is king a3 or king a1. These two possible squares. So now we go knight c4 and we push the king to corner with king a1. Now that the king is being pushed to the absolute corner, now the knight on a6 joins the checkmating net. We go knight b4. Now the king is technically stalemated, but there's a pawn on a5, so white continues to play by playing a6, and now black goes king c1, and after a7, knight goes to e3 and a8 queens knight ec2, and it is a checkmate. So this is the solution to the puzzle from the previous video. So now let's look at new content that's based on the checkmate on the b2 square. So this is the position, and this pawn looks very, very dangerous for white, right? It's like one move away from promoting itself to a queen. But the point to notice, it's black to play, and black can go something maybe like rook h8 and defend, rook f8, or you can even simply capture knight takes f7 if he wants. But black wanted to deliver a checkmate, so black went for the direct attack with knight c4. So now rook d2 checkmate is being threatened. White goes rook d1, and I'm pretty sure you would have guessed the move by now. If you haven't, pause the video and think. And the solution and the best move for black here is to go knight b2, and it's not just a check, but it is a checkmate, as this king cannot go to e3 or e4 or e2 or d2 because all these squares are controlled by the black pawns and rook, and the king is under check and the king can't go anywhere, so it's a checkmate. So now let's move on to the next example. So this is the position, and let me flip the board as it's white to play, and this pawn is going forward like this. And if you do look at it, the king on a3 is in a bit stuck position, I would say. And it's very important we continue to keep the king stuck so that our bishops can work together well and checkmate the black king. So for white first, as white goes bishop b3, kind of puts the king in a stalemate. The king can't go anywhere, but the pawn also cannot go anywhere because the pawn is blockaded, but there's still a knight. If there was no knight, yes, it would have been a checkmate. But as there's still a knight, black continues to make a move, so it's knight c6. And now I'm pretty sure you would have guessed the checkmate idea, which is bishop to b2. So that's this example. Let's move on to the next example that I have for you. So this is the position, and it's black to play. And I would highly suggest you to think, pause the video, calculate as much as you can, and once you're confident of the solution, then press the play button and watch this video from here. So the solution here is bishop d3 check. Once again, a forcing move. I've told this multiple times on our videos. Forcing moves are so key to getting better as a chess player. Bishop d3 check. White plays rook takes d3. After queen takes d3, another check. White goes king a1 because that's the only escape square for the king on b1. Now black just picks up this pawn with a check. Queen takes e3 check. And after king b1, black delivers the checkmate with queen b2. So let's move on to the final position. And this is the position that I'm going to give you all as homework or a puzzle that you can solve. And once you're confident you have solved it, put the solution on the comments box to this video, and we will reveal the solution in the next video. So signing off as Grandmaster Priyadharshan Kannappan, and before I sign off, I want to tell this is black to play and it's a checkmate, and as you know, it's going to be a checkmate on this square. So try to figure out how you can checkmate the white king on b2 square. So before I sign off, do subscribe to the channel, press on the bell icon. And if you have any suggestions or comments in general about the channel or these videos or some new episodes or new videos that you would like to see, put them on the comment section. We would really love to hear your feedback on the videos. Signing off as Priyadarshan. Bye bye, everyone.